Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to need a bigger internet. Beef, wine, and shenanigans. I'm Stephen Van Patten, joined, as always, by Kirk Johnson, Denise Tapscott, and Mark Abbott, who appears to be in a little bit of danger at the moment. And I'd like you all to please welcome, we haven't quite figured out if I'm his evil twin or he's mine, Mr. Steve Van Sampson.
Yay!
Some info on Mr.
I think we
Van
could
Sampson.
both be the good. Could we both be the good twin? I mean, maybe like you're the cool twin, I'm the lame twin. Maybe it's more like that. We're still like lawful good, technically.
You know what? That may be one of the nicer things that anybody has said on this show, and not that this show has a very high bar for nice things being said. But I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, I mean, I always refer to us to everybody I possibly can as the Steve Van Somethings. So
nice.
Whoever's good, whoever's bad,
nice.
it's irrelevant.
The Steve Van Somethings. Well, you know what? Now we need to start a band.
Uh-huh.
Like Van Halen.
Right. But it's Vance.
Right. But it's like you're the Lee Roth, I'm the Sammy Hagar. You know, only I'm more liberal than he is.
Oh man, yo, why can't y'all both have guitar players? You can both.
There's like no room for nobody. I don't know. It's gonna be terrible. No.
No. Denise will do vocals. Denise will do lead vocals. Mark is a bass player because he has it in his blood. I can see it.
We'll have 2 drummers and 5 vocalists.
Right.
Wait, what was that from? You play bass. I don't know how to. Oh no, that was South Park, right?
That was South Park, yeah.
When they made it to the black, they gave the black kid a bass.
Yeah.
Bass. And I can't play bass. Oh my god!
Yeah, then he plays it. You're like, oh god damn it.
That's funny.
All right. So real quick, I want to take this moment to promote Mr. Van Sampson's work.
Yes.
And including with that, Mark of the Witchworm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Which among other things includes No God But Hunger, which was a big hit.
Well, so it's not Mark of the Witchworm that has that. It's the new one's Black Honey.
Yeah, Black Honey has
Black
it.
Honey.
Okay, yes.
Mark of the Witchworm is a book I wrote, but that was a novel from 2021. That's my Sword and Sorcery.
Yes.
But Black Honey.
Yes.
Continue, please.
Yes.
All right.
Actually, when you're ready, I have a Sword and Sorcery question actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, No God But Hunger. And not only was it a fan favorite in this anthology that also includes a story from myself and a few other like.
Oh, we're talking Slay.
We're talking Slay.
Now.
Slay.
Okay, Slay. Yeah.
But what I was going to say is what was great about it is that it was this post-apocalyptic adventure story that basically had like 3 separate groups fighting with each other, and one of the groups being a sort of your version of a vampire. And one thing that really stuck out to me in that story was the sort of dirt cocoon that was implied in that story. And it stuck with me because it was a departure from, the usual vampire lore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just know that, having some experience with writing about vampires myself, I often get asked, well, wait, that's not, because basically what ends up happening is as writers of vampire lore, we often take it upon ourselves to maybe switch rules and move shit around and things like that. And sometimes people question it, but I mean, my whole thing is always, as long as I am true to the rules that I said at the beginning of the story, then I'm good, because what I'm doing is I'm creating my own mythos.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
absolutely.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on, like, well, first of all, was there a specific inspiration for the dirt cocoon, or
Ooh.
Like, how did we get to that? Let's just go there.
Awesome question. No one's ever asked about it. So, and I mean that, like that's an awesome question. So, okay. So first of all, in case you don't know, maybe you don't. So, No God But Hunger first appeared in Slay. Now it's in Black Honey, which is my new one. So that is a spin-off from my first two books. My first two books are, the first one is called The Bone Eater King, and the sequel to that is Marrow Dust. And those are both my vampire apocalypse stories. They're set in Africa. And
wow.
I went out to specifically, write a different kind of vampire story that I hadn't seen before. And I in no way created the idea of vampires in Africa at all. I'm not trying to suggest that I did, but it isn't something that's overly explored, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I went through, as I'm creating this lore, this new mythos or whatever, I tried to make some things I put in there are like gimmies. Like, it's not gonna feel like vampires if they aren't allergic to the sun. It's not gonna feel like a vampire. So it has to be at nighttime. The sun's gonna burn them. Whatever the scientific reason is, I don't know, because I tried to keep everything kind of biological. I tried to treat the whole thing is, I call it the Predator World series. That's the umbrella series. And I tried to treat vampires like a predator in the food web. What would happen? So if you take something like a pig and you put it where there's never been pigs, if you put pigs and let them loose on New Zealand, those birds that all live in New Zealand, like the cute kiwis, can I swear on the show?
Of course you can.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, so those pigs are going to eat all the
You froze.
they wreak havoc with crocodile populations and stuff like that. So anyway, so I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, what do I want? What do I want to keep? What do I want to change? The dirt cocoon thing, actually, there is a specific bit of inspiration that I took from Vampire the Masquerade, if anybody remembers that.
Oh.
I don't know if this came from that truly, but it's where I was introduced to it, where, okay, I don't remember what the power was, but I played like one round of Vampire the Masquerade when I was in high school with some friends. And one of the powers that they could do was they could meld into the earth if there was nothing else around. So they sort of just, I don't know, like pride, like phased into the earth. Okay. So I completely stole that idea. And I've never talked about this because no one's ever asked. But my thought was that if there is no shelter, then this is like an innate sort of a reflex that will happen where their body just finds something and the materials of whatever can come up around them. It's not going to be like absorbing, man. If they do it like, on steel, it's not going to do anything. But dirt, and actually the very, very end of the Bone Eater King, the very last like paragraph is where it happens for the first time, and it's a total shocker, and I'm kind of spoiling it, but it doesn't happen with, it doesn't happen with dirt. I will say that there's some other thing, and that actually was my initial, me taking the Vampire the Masquerade thing where they can meld into the dirt and doing it in my own way. And then with No God But Hunger, it is described as being done simply with dirt, which is more directly referencing that. I wish I could remember what the power was. I just don't remember what it was called, but I'm sure some of your fans.
Do you remember the clan?
Not specifically, honestly. It was definitely a something that was done by different clans. It was because I remember, certain powers would be exclusive for certain clans, but a lot of them were shared. I feel like this was a shared one that like a few of them could do. I will say this: there was a Vampire the Masquerade show that was on in the 90s for one season.
Yes, there was.
I can't remember. Kindred the Embraced.
Kindred the Embraced. That's right.
Dude,
the DVDs are in there somewhere. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow,
And the main dude, does it in one of the episodes. He just, and it's not explained, but he just like kitty prides into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, there's instead of having like just phase into the dirt, I'm like, all right, well, it's kind of more like it kind of covers them. It's like a dirt cocoon. I don't know.
Oh wow.
But,
that sounds.
Yeah, it's definitely
creepy.
like creating your own mythos, what you said, Steve, is like 100% like the idea. It's like find the places that you can change stuff to make it your own thing, and then stick to that. Do not deviate from your own rules, and you'll be fine. Because I've had people. It's so funny whenever somebody says, but can vampires do that though for something? And I'll be like, bro, you know vampires are like fake, right?
You know them motherfuckers ain't real, right? Other niggas ain't real, right?
My vampires can. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Right.
It's like, are vampires black? They're gonna be black today.
Yeah. Well, you know, for my world, that was one of the things I did was I made all no matter what skin tone you happen to be when you get turned into a vampire, you end up being jet black.
Right.
Oh wow.
White,
Oh,
brown, you just turn jet black. There are no pale pasty vampires. And
Look at that. Look at that.
Gold
Look at that.
star.
So,
Look
so
at
Gold
that.
star.
And solved racism. Look at that. He just solved racism.
Hey, even more important, you're invited to the cookout.
Exactly.
Oh, please.
Yeah, so it's
He's
like
Armenian. He's cooking, first of all.
I've been cooking some Spanish stuff lately. I don't know if you've seen on my feed, but
Oh,
yeah,
I
man,
did.
We're into it.
I was getting hungry looking at that.
As long as you got the
Yeah,
herbs and spices,
I've
you're
been
good.
really spreading my wings.
cooking some good stuff.
So yeah, so my vampires are hairless, jet
Mhm.
black. They have claws, they have fangs, and the one key is that their eyes are solid red like whole cherries. That's how I describe them.
Wow.
So they don't glow. There's no glowing eyes or anything like that. But they don't have pupils or anything like that. They're just solid red.
Wow.
And there is something in there where there's a girl in the first book who is like the second to main character, and she becomes the main character of Marrow Dust. And there is a third possible color you can be, which is gray, and that's the Bone Eater King. He's a monstrous version, and he's gray. He's not. He's the only one that isn't black. So there's a way that a mutation can occur, and you become like ashen gray, sort of. So she becomes. So she goes from being a brown woman from Uganda to being jet black to being gray, and this is something that she does mention in the third one, in the second book, where she's like, for God's sakes, like how many me's do I have to get used to? I'm now too removed from my actual vision of myself, kind of a thing.
Oh wow.
But she's the star of No God But Hunger, this character Ray, and she's one of my favorite characters I've ever created. She's a big one for me. So
wow.
Sounds very badass.
She's the main character of that story. So if you read No God But Hunger, it happens actually directly before Bone Eater King. So if you read that first and then read Bone Eater King, it's like seamless. It goes right into it.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But anyway,
Good stuff.
I wrote those two books back in 2017, so they've been out for a while now. But yeah.
Yeah, isn't it wild how sometimes you'll have done something a while ago and then all of a sudden it catches fire?
Mm-hmm.
And then
It's a beautiful thing.
I think you're being too kind, but thanks. Yeah. You know what? I'll let you know when that happens. Maybe after this episode that'll happen.
Yeah.
hey,
Sales
stranger
are shoot
things
up
have
by
happened.
2. Yes.
So Kirk Johnson here is also a sword and sorcery person.
Yes.
And I know you had a sword and sorcery related question.
I did. So Mark of the Witchworm
Yes, sir.
is your sword and sorcery. I read epic fantasy on the blurb for it on Goodreads. So what is your take? I mean, why a full-length novel and not a set of short stories? Because usually, because there's, I remember reading debates about sword and sorcery is so different from epic fantasy that it works best as a short form literature as opposed to a novel, because novels are set for epic fantasy where you get to explore the world and the food and you go in and in. So what was your thinking for making it into a novel?
Well, the funny thing is with that one, I've had we know as writers, right? Like sometimes there are characters and story ideas that you've had in you for like since you were a kid, and you're
Yeah.
still going to get to them at some point, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just how our brains work. They won't shut up. They won't put things away from you.
So
So
true.
I've had a
So true.
Yeah. So I've had this character that was going to be like it wasn't originally Sword and Sorcery. It was my Castlevania character. I was obsessed with Castlevania always.
Okay.
I still love it. This is one of my favorite I love video games. I love retro video games. I am a co-host of the Retro Reductipocephala podcast. If that could just be said real quick. Steve has actually been on that once, and we had a good time talking about vampire movies. I think we talked about.
Yes.
So anyway, we love nostalgia. So anyway, Castlevania. So this started out as like my fan fiction Castlevania character, and then over time, I'm like, well, I don't really actually want it to be linked to Castlevania. Really, I can't use it then, and it's fine. But I liked the idea of like, this idea that you can have fantasy, but you can have vampires and monsters and stuff like that. Now that was before The Witcher existed, but
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Witcher fan. Like something about it doesn't really work for me, but I love the idea of The Witcher, and I love that kind of a character. I love Conan. I love all the old Sword and Sorcery. Like there's something about it. It is truly different than fantasy and epic fantasy and high fantasy and all this stuff. So I'm like, all right, I like this like spooky horror melded with fantasy sort of thing. So I want to do something like that. And in fact, Kirk, I wanted to do a series of short stories, or maybe I was thinking maybe they're not short stories, maybe they're novellas, maybe they're like 20,000 words each or something like
novelettes
that.
and novellas and
Something like that. Maybe it would be like that. So anyway, so I had this idea, and originally it was, well, it's in Castlevania, every game that came out for a long time, you were a different member of the Belmont clan, but there was always this history of this family that was always built into the series. It didn't matter what, you could be Kirk Belmont and it's fine. You're meeting Kirk Belmont for the first time, but you understand that like, oh, he's from the Belmont clan, though he's a badass and he comes from a long line of badasses. And I liked that a lot. I liked that idea. So when I decided to divorce it from Castlevania, I really wanted to have something with the lineage there. And so what I decided to do was like, I'm thinking about the dad, and I'm like, well, okay, so he doesn't kill Dracula anymore, but like, what is he gonna do? What made his dad a man of repute, a man of legend, a man where the son would grow up being compared to this great man and get sick of it and want to like leave. And because I always my Belmont was the dissenting Belmont that was sick of it and wanted to shirk his duties because it's just too much expected. That was my idea. So I liked that idea. I still like that idea. So what I ended up doing was writing the story of his dad. And I was like, well, I do really want to write all these shorter things with the son, which was always going to be my main character guy. And instead I sat down for 3 years and I wrote the backstory of his dad, and it became Mark of the Witchworm. So it's the longest thing I've written. It's like over 400 pages. I haven't come close to that yet. So, but I'm really proud of it, and I appreciate the question. And I don't know. I also really wanted it to not be. It was important to me that book is a standalone novel because I like standalone novels. I like that. I don't appreciate that in the world of fantasy, you are expected to write a 27 book freaking Robert Jordan series.
Brandon Sanderson.
Sanderson. I mean, I can't. First of all, I can't do that output anyway. It took me 3 years to write the 400-page book. It did. So it's like, okay, maybe I could be faster next time. But man, it doesn't matter. It's irregardless, because I like standalone novels. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write. I treated it like the anti-fantasy book. Like this is. It is what it is, But
love it. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Great. Yep. Wow. Did I have I had another question too for you about your so is Sword and Sorcery, would you consider it Sword and Sorcery or epic fantasy then? Or
So I go Sword and Sorcery.
Sword and Sorcery?
Right. Yep, or dark fantasy. Those are the two I like better. I call it because I'm always winking. I'm always like trying to be funny. So on the cover it's called it's a book of axes and alchemy. So it's not Sword and Sorcery, it's axes and alchemy, because there's axes and there isn't actually magic. So if your question that you couldn't remember was, hey Steve, what's your magic system like? The answer is, well, Kirk, there isn't one.
Right.
There just
off.
isn't magic. There's
the name of the magic system is called fuck off.
Yeah. There's unbelievable shit. There's
that sounds like some powerful magic.
I treated I allowed myself to put the most unbelievable stuff in with the creatures. So if I'm probably never going to do a straight up dragon, but maybe the dragon can breathe fire and who fucking cares why, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the witchworm in the book does some pretty unbelievable stuff, but there's no wizards walking around with sticks shooting magic missiles or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you're into that, that's totally fine. It's just not in this book. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I'll say it. There's something wrong with that shit, man. Fuck that. I want a fucking bearded wizard smoking weed. Ain't no black people around. Fuck y'all.
Maybe there's nothing saying that the two blue wizards in Lord of the Rings weren't black dudes. There's nothing saying that. There's nothing saying that.
You just don't see them.
You're just never gonna know. We are never gonna know, but there's nothing saying that they are black dudes. That's all.
It's like point. It's like the Song of Ice and Fire. All the black people are chilling because Westeros is too fucked up. I ain't going there, man. They got rid of affirmative action. They can't let trans people be. There's only one place you can hang out in, and it's always hot, and motherfuckers don't like them.
There is straight up no reason for Game of Thrones to be as white as it is. There just isn't. He came up with the Summer Isles or this nebulous place that black people live apparently, and it's the Caribbean, I guess. And once in a while you see a black character and they're from the Summer Isles. It's a crazy thing I saw. The fuck, there's just no reason for it. So I don't know, whatever.
There's a reason. Westeros is too fucking violent. Y'all motherfuckers do too much shit, man. I don't hang out in Dorne.
What's that line from Luke Cage? I'm going back uptown, man.
Yeah,
too much for me.
The show did a better job than the books, and the show did not do a good job. So there's a couple more characters. Grey Worm became cooler.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Come on. You got to really
again, when the bar is low. Anyway,
it's easy to step over it.
It's easy. You don't have to limbo anyway. That's for sure.
Well, my dude is supposed to be very Native American inspired. So that was the thing. It's putting it in a box. Mark of the Witchworm is like a Native American Conan type, but he's not going out there to rape and pillage. He's trying to save his son.
Oh,
so it's brutal. It's a serious story, but he's going out there for a selfless reason. But it's perfect. A little more complicated than that.
No, that's awesome. It's that's the moral ambiguity of characters as a sword and sorcery thing already. So now I can use Eric Swig as the vision of your main character. He played Uncas in Last of the Mohicans. His name's Eric Swig. Okay. So young Eric Swig is that's the vision I have. As opposed to Jason Momoa.
Yeah, definitely not.
My stars.
Jason Momoa has been.
Yeah, Denise is thinking about a completely different movie.
Yes, a different book altogether. She's thinking about a different book,
and she's in it.
Right. Written by John.
The guy I actually really love. I don't remember his name. Hold on one second. One second. What's his name? He was Kimmy Schmidt's dad in the Kimmy Schmidt show, and there was that movie Wind River, I think, with Jeremy Renner. Is that what that was called?
Wind River.
Wind River. It was a really great movie. So so you guys should. This is sidebar. Go see this movie. It's called Wind River. It came out in 2017. It stars Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen, and it's dealing with the fact that Native American girls are brutally murdered and left on the side of the road all the time.
I heard about that movie. Yes.
Oh,
This is a great movie. So the man's name I'm talking about is Gil Birmingham. Birmingham. He's a native dude. I love this guy. Unfortunately, he's too old for he's 69 now.
Right.
So he's too old for my character. But man, I like this guy. If he was like maybe 50 or between 45 and 55, maybe.
Yeah, I see him.
He'd be a great choice. I really like.
him.
I also like the guy who was John Rainbird in the new Firestarter movie, but that movie was hot garbage. But he's cool.
Flaming hot garbage.
Yeah, they did kind of screw that one up.
Yeah.
Oh
Screwed
boy,
the
so
pooch,
bad.
as we say
Oh, boy.
in Hollywood terms.
So I have a question. Steve,
Yes, sir.
I see in the background a poster of the Beast from
Yes.
20,000 Fathoms.
Yes.
What was
Nice.
your wheelhouse when you got into horror? Was it those types of pictures, or was it something more obscure that you saw when you were growing up and you were like, yeah, that's me right there?
So first of all, you're the first person who's ever noticed the poster, and it just tickles me so pink. So thank you. I actually also have the actual Beast up on the shelf behind me too, so you can't.
No shit.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh wow.
All right. I'll just get him. Hold on.
Yeah.
Get the beast, get the beast, get the beast, get the beast, get the beast,
The
get the beast, get the beast.
The Beast. Ouch. Bruce.
Oh
That's
shit.
awesome.
Oh, nice.
Oh my stars.
I hope the whole thing doesn't come collapsing down.
And then we
That'd
just
be
bring
bad.
blame.
You bought two monsters for us.
Oh
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is awesome. So cool.
And now we have
Where'd
two
you get it
guests.
from? Yes.
This is
Oh my God.
this was from Sideshow.
Oh yes.
Awesome. Oh, I love
That
that.
show
Oh my
makes great
God.
stuff.
Look at the detailing on that tail.
Yeah.
That's what she
Holy
said.
moly.
Yeah.
He said what he
Harryhausen
said.
would be proud.
I'm a fan. So I mean, we're all geeks, right? We love this stupid shit, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
I assume
100%.
maybe somebody who's watching the show might think that was cool too. And even if they think I'm less cool, I don't care. So
You're cool.
getting into stuff like, my thing was always monsters and creatures. So like, this is what I always tell people, like, I love Star Wars. And when people are like, who's your favorite character in Star Wars? And people are like, oh, is it Han Solo, or, is it Luke, or is it Leia? Or I'm like, no, it's a fucking Tauntaun. Like, I legitimately love the creatures more than anything. And the Rancor and, the space slug that they have to jet out of in the asteroid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is no
the
cave.
Sarlacc, and this is no cave. And like, we actually on my podcast Retro Octopus, we actually got to interview this lady Terrell Whitlatch. She did all the creature design for Phantom Menace,
Oh nice.
and that was
Oh,
so
wow.
cool. She did every
Mm.
creature on that entire movie. She even did Jar Jar.
Wow.
But hey, she's getting paid. So yeah, I mean, like, remember those, like, all the underwater monsters and stuff in that one
Yeah.
scene?
Oh, I love that
And then-
creature, the one that bit the other, the
Yeah,
bigger fish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As always.
Oh.
Bigger fish.
Yeah, so for me it was like whatever it was, I was just excited to see the monster. I remember the first time my mom rented Alien for me. I wanted to see Alien only because of Spaceballs, because I love Spaceballs and I love Mel Brooks like so much. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's
Mhm.
it's
awesome.
just oh my God, I'm just such a Mel Brooks fan. So anyway, I love Spaceballs so much, and my mom, this is when I was a little kid, explained to me the end. I'm like, just laughing, and then you have John Hurt, and he's like, "Oh no, not again!"
Again,
And
yes.
I'm like, why does he say that? And my mom's like, oh, well, because it's a joke, because this happened in Alien and it was the same guy. And I was like, what? I want to see that movie. So the movie is like taking weight. We rent it and it was like, I am bored. I am so bored. Now, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Now it's Alien is, I am a huge fan of that series. Alien is in my heart like few things are. But when I was a stupid little bored kid, I was like, when's the alien monster gonna happen?
Right.
You know, and I was just so impatient. I remember the same thing happened. We rented 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and all I cared about was the giant squid. And I'm like, that movie is long. That movie is long. You have to put up with like Kirk Douglas singing on a ukulele with like he's serenading.
Oh my God.
Like, Peter Lorre, and like it's like when does the squid happen, Mom? And she's like, Steve, it's not for a long time. And I'm like, you know, where's the giant squid? I want to see the giant squid. And she's like, honestly, at this point, it's not even going to be fulfilling. You're going to be disappointed. It's like 2 seconds. You're your stupid giant squid. Anyway, so for me, that's pretty much how I entered into a lot of the horror that I like, is because, you know, so for Godzilla, I love Godzilla. I love Harryhausen stuff, you know, Jaws, anything where there's like a big creature, big monster effect. I just was always a huge fan of that. The first scary movie I think I ever saw that was a horror movie, even though it's more of a horror comedy, is Fright Night. And I always go back to Fright Night as my first. And to this day, it's one of my faves. I love that movie so much. I love Jerry Dandridge. He's one of my favorite vampires ever. He's such a smooth mofo, and he eats apples, and like he's just such an awesome dude.
Hi, Charlie. Yeah.
It's like, hi, Charlie. He's so fucking charming. Like, it's like, you know,
sexy
your pants
motherfucker.
just instantly fall off when he says hi, Charlie. No matter what sex you are, no matter what you're into, who you're into, it doesn't matter. Your pants just fall off instantly. No choice. I'm like, look, all right, Chris Sarandon. Look, I'm not into you. I'm gonna pull him back up, but they did fall off.
They did.
Takes a strong man to admit some stuff like that. Well, let me ask.
Gender
you
is fluid anyway, so you know.
These days it is. Let me ask you this. How did you, since we're on the subject of Fright Night, how did you feel about the remake?
Oh.
All right. No. Well, I'll take it from all of that.
Yeah. Let him have it.
I mean, so not as to just rip it apart. I mean, what's his name? The Doctor Who dude, David Tennant. David Tennant was awesome, and it was a great idea to make like that type of a character, and because we don't really have horror hosts as much anymore. It's not as much of a thing. Don't.
There's like Svengoolie, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Right. And like then there are like the local people who are like trying to bring that back and trying to, you know, I know some people like that, you know, are on like the smaller screen, but you know, yeah, it's just not the same. So to make somebody like a David Blaine or whoever he was going for is kind of just made a lot of sense. And I do love David Tennant. How can you not love David Tennant? He's amazing in everything. I mean, he's the best in him and Michael Sheen just bickering like an old married couple videos of them hanging out. That's actually the best thing he's ever done. But
Bad Omens, right?
Yeah, Bad Omens.
Yeah. It's really good. But yeah, not too big a fan.
So not so much.
Yeah, a lot of it was the original Jerry Dandridge, and Colin Farrell. You know, I think he just knocked it out of the park as the Penguin so bad, and I just cannot believe how much I loved. I never liked the Penguin. I was never a big Colin Farrell guy. I'm never a fan of either of those two things, and that freaking performance was like my favorite part of that movie, and I liked that movie. And I was really met on him for a long time. Oh, and I loved him in the Banshees of what is it? Banshees
in Inisherin.
Inisherin, right? Love that. Awesome movie, amazing movie. But for a while there, I think he was one of those actors who kept getting pushed into all these Hollywood blockbusters, and I think he was just kind of always collecting a paycheck. Like I don't ever think he was that good. And
Those
I
checks
think
in
that
the mail.
was
Yeah.
yeah.
he
Cut
was,
the
he
check.
was, I think the first movie I ever saw him in, the first movie he got attention for was Mopic 28 or something of that nature. It was a Vietnam movie.
Oh.
He played a recruit. He played like that rebel recruit, and he was actually really good. I noticed him in that. That was like the first movie I think he ever did
Okay.
for a big
I never saw
for
that
big
one.
budget and stuff. And then he did SWAT, and I was like, ah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
I just-
damn.
yeah, I just really, I mean, I don't have anything against the guy. He had a funny cameo in Scrubs one time. I'll say that. Like,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
that was out of nowhere. But he was, I don't know, just somebody that I always felt he was just kind of dialing it in. But
Mm.
I do believe he's a good actor.
Mhm.
Well,
I just
yeah.
think
You gotta get the
sometimes
right
it's kinda
role.
like
To your
Right.
point,
And
to
good
your point,
writing.
he proved he can act with that penguin performance. You're
Mhm.
absolutely
Yes.
right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
oh my
Because
god,
it's
I am
the right
excited
because
for Will Ferrell.
honestly, I'm sitting in the theater and I'm like, wait, who's Colin Farrell supposed to be? You know,
Yeah.
you're watching
Right,
the movie.
right.
Yeah.
Forget it's
No,
him.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like,
If I
wait,
didn't-
he's the pink. Get the fuck out of
Mhm.
here.
I know,
It's
if I
literally
didn't
like
know
that.
if I didn't know going in, I would have watched the whole movie and been like, where was Colin Farrell?
Yeah. I actually forgot it was him.
Yeah, me
I
too.
did.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god,
Nuts.
nuts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, cheers to you, Mr. Farrell.
Yeah.
If you're listening.
and here's to the beast.
What's
To
up,
the
what's up, Colin?
beast.
To the beast.
To the beast, yes.
To the beast. And to the beast in all of us. Speaking of beasts, so Black Mirror season 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I really and so Mark had already kind of like peeped us earlier this month because he had kind of already had dived into it. And that werewolf episode.
Maisie Day.
Maisie Day.
Yeah.
Maisie Day.
That was, I want to call that the dusk till dawn of werewolf stories because you
Right.
literally do not see this coming at all. It is
Not at
just
all.
like,
Yeah.
Not
I'm
at all.
sorry. Wait, what?
Right.
Yeah.
And the way they just kind of like, so the fun thing for me anyway was to watch it over
Mm-hmm.
for
Ah.
the
For the
very,
clues.
very subtle hints
Right.
that
Yeah.
this is where we were going, and they were subtle indeed.
Yeah.
Dang.
But they
I
were
gotta watch
there.
it again.
But
I gotta watch
I
it
feel-
again.
I feel it was a little too subtle for my taste, to be honest with you.
well, but I think that made the surprise all the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like which one was it? Lock Henry was more of a surprise than
Okay.
Lock Henry with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad and the cop. That was more of a holy shit.
Oh,
surprise
yeah.
moment,
Yeah.
as opposed to like I you know how I feel about the actress, so love me some Atlanta. Yeah, but yeah, Lock I my big thing was Demon 79.
That was
that was a
really
great one.
good.
That was a great
really
one
good.
too.
Yeah.
That was
Demon
absolutely great.
79.
I like how they ended it. I was, yeah.
That
That's
actually
Demon
opened
79 was
up.
beautiful.
That actually opened up a wormhole because apparently that last line that the
Yeah.
cop says is from a BBC movie called Threads
Oh.
that I looked up, and people were like, oh, you should see it. And I looked at it, and it is the British version of The Day After Tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not
Oh.
I'm not ready
Oh,
for that because
wow.
it's about it was done in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Right.
about nuclear holocaust
Oh.
in Britain, what happens. And apparently that line is from that show. It's paying
Gotcha.
homage to
Oh,
it.
wow.
So at some point I'm gonna sit down and watch that. But I was like, huh.
Too soon.
that-
Too soon.
Right.
I will tell you this
Right.
though. I watched Joan is Awful twice. 3 times.
3 times. Oh my goodness.
Right.
So here's the funny thing. If you go back and watch it
Uh-huh.
on the Streamberry,
Streamberry. I love that.
okay, all of those stories are on Streamberry.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
you look carefully,
Oh.
those stories are
The
on
lower third,
Streamberry.
yeah.
I didn't pay attention. Oh my stars.
And just Salma Hayek doing comedy is probably her being
That's
herself. just an it's
Just
just
like
Like Steve.
remember earlier
Yeah.
with Denise.
oh no
Hubba,
Mm.
hubba.
Mama.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Woo.
Summer Hayek.
Yeah,
Although-
she was great.
Man, I love it when anybody plays it like a douchey version of themselves. That's like my favorite. That's like an instant way for me to love an actor if I didn't already.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Like if say Colin Farrell were to like play a douchey version of himself.
Right.
Or like it was, the last movie he made was like Alexander or something, and he did that, I'd be like, oh, I like this dude. He's pretty cool. He's pretty fun.
Right. I forgot he was in Alexander. Oh my
He-
God.
yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
remembers it exists because you don't need to.
Nice.
Costume design was
Nice.
really good though. Costume design was actually very good on that movie.
yeah.
But other than that though.
And outside of that, that's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
The space one was good too. That was sad.
Oh,
what was that one? The,
yeah.
Beyond the Sea.
Beyond the Sea.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, that one took me out. I was
yeah.
like,
I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. Like at one point, I thought that the one that's like really depressed. I thought he was going to kill.
That's what
the
I
guy.
thought.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
was like, ooh.
And then I
yeah.
was like, oh, y'all. Oh yeah, I forgot it's Black Mirror.
yeah,
Yeah.
You
Yeah, how about
forget. You
How
forget
about
what you're
that?
watching.
right, you do.
They have
They're
to
so
remind
good.
you.
yeah,
Yes,
that was
and
another
then you're
one.
like,
That was another one that was like, I didn't feel like I didn't know. It just didn't feel to me like there was any other inclination at how violent he was, because that's violence beyond violence. That's like you got a sense that he was in depression,
yeah,
infatuation,
Mhm.
right? Moving into those realms, but that kind of violence is another thing altogether.
well, I felt
Like it's
this
one thing
kind
if he just strangled him. Like if he strangled him, that was one thing.
yeah,
But there's blood everywhere. It's like, nigga, what you do?
everywhere.
Like,
Well,
what
I just
did
felt
you
like it was part of
use?
like their society though, because the people that killed his family, and then they go and turn themselves in,
Yeah.
like suddenly
the
to me, it
Manson
kind of
family?
feel like a
Yeah,
yeah,
that
the
was
Manson
a,
that was a
family.
Manson
that was a
family
very
thing.
Manson.
But
Yeah.
it was like
thing.
60s man. Like he has to be high on shit.
Right.
Like he like LSD.
But they
had to
thought they
be
were
like
doing the
his-
right
his-
thing. So I think it just changed the mentality of everyone like in that universe.
in the
Because that's
universe.
why the other guy and his family are like way out in the middle of nowhere. And she's also only there's no people, but he's trying to protect them from that society.
okay.
It's that's how I felt about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. But they're all crazy and violent.
Speaking of which, they're actually getting ready to release. I forget the woman's name, but she's been in for like 50 years or so.
Oh, one for the Manson murders. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Van
but
Houten.
they-
Her last name was Van Houten.
Yes,
They
yes,
released
yes,
one
yes.
of them already
Yeah.
a few years ago,
Mhm.
didn't they?
It should. Yeah, they did.
They released one of them, and then she
think
was
so.
just sort of like,
Should
I'm
stop
just happy to
releasing-
be out.
Right.
It's like,
Stop
Yeah.
releasing them motherfuckers and release everybody who got life sentences and shit for selling weed.
Seriously.
Right. Because they would be a
How
lot
about
younger,
that?
that
Right.
part. Yeah. Let them
That
live their
part.
lives.
Right. There's
Oh,
a
well,
dude
it
right
was
now.
illegal.
Over 70. Oh, let you know.
There's a dude right now in jail right now looking at his cellmate going, I'm about to get fucked tonight. I wish I was out. All I did was sold weed.
Ooh,
I wish I sold
Ooh.
weed, this year, and it'd be fine.
How
right.
about that? How about that?
Yeah.
What was
Well-
your favorite, Steve?
Oh wow. Well, Amazing Day.
I'm in Van Sampson.
Oh, that one.
Steve
Nice.
Van
Sorry.
Sampson. Is that what it is?
So-
The two Steves.
I was afraid that was gonna happen at some point.
Well, technically, you're Steven, right? Are you
Well,
Steven?
then there's that. Well, yeah. Well, all right. So, as far as my book covers go, in general, yeah, sure. But I mean, I don't know. It with other people, it depends on their comfort level. Like a lot of people, of course, call me SVP and whatever, and it's fine.
And other names.
And then there's yeah.
Hey, you. Lucius.
Yeah. Lucius.
I signed all my artwork. I always sign my artwork Van Sam to try to get it to catch on, but it just hasn't yet. I don't know.
Oh.
I own an original Van Sant.
Yeah,
Van Sam.
original Van Sam. So here's the thing. And I don't want you guys to feel bad because it's totally my fault because I did get the heads up. I haven't seen the whole season.
Okay.
So and it's okay. It's okay. Spoil away. It was fine.
Oh no.
It's your show. But I've seen Jonah's Awful, and it was awesome. I loved it so friggin' much. I love Annie Murphy so much.
Me too.
And it was great seeing her in such a different role. And oh my God, that ending just blew my mind. And then it's like mind blowing. It's like blown, like, right? Like all these things happen in a row. You're just not at all expecting. And then it didn't end badly. I'm like, wait a minute, is this Black Mirror or what? This ended kind of good. Like, this is hopeful.
I want to say they saved the bleakness for other episodes.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering.
Yeah.
So I know we're, let's stay on season 6 Black Mirror, but just quick question: did you guys see and do you have opinions on the Cabinet of Curiosities that came out last whatever?
Oh, not yet.
Yeah.
I did.
He's popping up
because I saw that, and I have feelings, but I feel like this is going to be far superior. The one episode seems like it would be.
I got the feeling it was like the stories and production. It felt like, I want to say, Creep Show. Like, is it Creep Show?
Creep Show?
On they used to come on HBO.
Tales from the Crypt.
Series.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, Tales from the Crypt.
Okay.
They kind of felt like those kind of stories. Not so much like, oh my God, but more like, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean? Like the horror and the ending of the horror, the gruesomeness it just was not as of a gut punch or as heart-wrenching as Beyond the Sea or as a gut punch as Maisie Day is. Maisie Day is grim as fuck. I love that. I love it for that. But the Cabinet of Curiosities, you know what? It'd be PG-13.
Oh.
Black Mirror, Maisie Day would be rated R.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
16, Demon 69 would be PG-13. No, it'd be actually R as well.
It would be R, but kind of a light R.
Like a light R. Lock Henry.
You know what I mean? Like
it's a pink R.
It's a pink R, right?
It's a pink R. Lock Henry is an R.
Mostly R.
Lock Henry is an R. But
the diet
Cabinet Curiosities.
Yes.
Right.
0 calories.
Just 1 calorie, not quite restricted enough.
Yeah. But I do appreciate what Guillermo del Toro is doing.
And I will also
I like the opening.
And the opening is great. I think the diversity in the directors.
Yeah.
In case you caught that there's a lot of ladies, in the mix, which is great. Because hey, sisters can do horror too, baby.
We like horror, I'm telling you.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of which, and I was just gonna throw this out, just as kind of because I went down an internet rabbit hole recently. Big surprise. And I found something called the Bechdel test. You ever heard of this? Any of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was telling you about that, the Bechdel test one time.
Yes.
And I said they should do a black version of the Bechdel test. There's the black version. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, explain it for the people that don't know what it is.
So the people that don't know what that means, and it's usually a way to sort of, I guess, filter or screen your movie or your bit of literature or something along those lines. But the basic gist is, the question would be, does your whatever movie, story, whatever, does it pass the Bechdel test? And the way you pass the Bechdel test is you have to have 2 major characters that are women, and they have to talk to each other about something other than a man.
Exactly. Yep.
Now,
guess who failed that? And Sex and the City failed.
Yeah.
What?
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, because they're always talking about men.
Yeah.
That's all
That's
they
all
always
they
talk
do.
about men.
That's all they talk about. Yeah.
I had not even thought about that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, all right, wait. So
holy shit.
And I had a feeling when I threw it up in the air that there was going to be some mind-blowing shit about,
Yeah.
once we started discussing it. But okay, you just
He's off.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
off the rails.
kind of fucked me up there for us.
Right.
Because
You got me fucked up, baby.
you got
Right, right.
four main characters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're the show.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And mind you, I was not a big fan of the show. I didn't watch the show. As a matter of fact, I was living with a now ex at the time who would insist on, trying to get me to watch it. And odd because, I would be trying to watch other things.
Right.
It's like, call me when Deadwood's on, that kind of shit.
Right, right.
And she would get mad, and I was like, you should be happy I don't want to watch this because it means I'm not gay. So
Come
was
on.
like,
Damn.
I mean,
Damn.
and that made me, a little
Wait, bro.
much.
Wait.
No, because I
Yeah,
had an
exactly.
ex-boyfriend, and the ex-boyfriend insisted that we watch the second movie, and I was like, "Are you serious? I didn't want to watch it. There's no monsters, there's no ghosts. No, we got to
Right.
see Sex in the City too."
Nice.
At his, that's what he is an egg.
Hmm.
You're left
But you know who
cheese.
did? You know who did pass the Bechdel test?
Who?
If we really think about it, Awkward Black Girl.
Oh, yeah.
What?
What passed the Bechdel test? Awkward Black Girl. Issa Rae.
Mhm.
Insecure.
Oh.
Insecure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, definitely.
didn't-
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes
Right.
all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
And the remake of Ghostbusters.
That's
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it should.
Well, yeah, because they're talking about ghosts.
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 Imagine that. Yeah.
Imagine
Talking
that.
about ghosts. Were the ghosts dudes though? Were they dude ghosts? Because that might count. Does that count?
Gender is a fluid concept.
It's ectoplasmic. Gender is ectoplasmic in the Ghostbusters.
Ectoplasmic
There
is
we
funny.
go.
Right, right.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. There's
I think Black Widow also passed it, actually. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it should.
Definitely, yeah.
Black Widow.
Yeah, there's some great.
Sort of
Well,
yeah, sort of no, though, because they're talking about their dad. That's a man.
Right, but not through the
Yeah.
whole.
Saving
not through-
him.
Off the top of my head, I would say Justice League. That's a big no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Because you don't even have two
You don't
women.
have two women. You don't have two women.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman on some tokenism shit. You know?
Right.
right.
Yeah.
But right.
A lot of
So
stuff
I-
doesn't
so-
pass. A
She
lot
doesn't even
doesn't
get. She didn't even get to talk to Lois.
So then
She doesn't even
Wow.
get. She doesn't
Wait,
even.
so-
She doesn't even get to talk to Aquaman squeeze of the week.
Right,
Squeeze
right.
of the week.
Hold on. She had that delightful British lady who was from Shaun of the Dead. I don't remember her name, but she was she was cool. She definitely had scenes with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
All right. Oh,
So I
maybe
think
Justice League does.
technically, I think. Oh, and they were on Themyscira. What are you talking about? They totally passes. The first
No,
quarter
not
of the
were
movie they were on
were they on
Themyscira.
Themyscira?
Yeah, they're on Themyscira for the first half of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
But
so
the
like
discussion-
she
but
didn't even
remember-
know
No,
what a
Wonder
dude
Woman,
was.
yeah.
But remember,
Not
the
Justice
discussion on
League, yeah.
Themyscira, the discussion on Themyscira, as soon as the man shows up, is the man.
That's true.
But they do have conversations together,
Before.
Mm.
not about a
Together.
man. So it does
Not
pass.
about a man.
that
Yeah,
does
yeah,
count. All right.
It doesn't pass because it's only that half of the movie, not through the whole
That's
movie.
right.
You have to have it through the movie. The whole
Well, I
movie.
guess. All right. Well. Okay. All right.
But you had a game.
Actually,
I'm assuming you had a game on this.
actually, the original Star Wars. Leia doesn't have anyone to talk to.
No.
That's true.
That fails.
Mm-mm.
It's
Wow. Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
Empire
Because there isn't
Strikes
even
Back.
any lady
Wait.
stormtroopers. Well, wait. No. Does she talk to Mon Mothma?
no, not
No.
until later.
Nobody talks to Mon Mothma. She just gives presentation. Mon Mothma's there. She's there with the big PowerPoint. She's there with the talks about
Right.
the boffins.
She talks about it.
Big PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I mean, it's technically
Yeah.
it's like a
Bang,
PowerPoint.
bang,
It's
wing.
a three dimension.
Right.
Right.
I mean, her mom and her mother did speak with Mon Mothma but that scene ended up on the cutting room floor.
No
But I
shit.
have seen the scene with Mon Mothma and
Is it Mon Mothma or Mon Mothra?
Not
I
Mon Mothra.
wish it was Mon Mothra.
Mon Mothra. Mon Mothma.
A giant caterpillar
Ladies-
person
ladies and-
with a PowerPoint presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mon Mothma. All right, that's enough of that.
There's never enough of that. Oh, those fairy twins, what delights.
Oh, man.
Well, wait.
They
So-
would pass.
That's right. They pass because
They
they're not
pass.
talking about guys.
They're always talking about Mothra, who's a chick.
Right.
But they don't. But funny enough, they don't actually talk to each other.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
always
Well,
talking
they
to somebody
do
else.
telepathy, right?
That
mean, they
is
have
true.
to-
They don't talk
right,
to
but
each
they
other.
do speak to
And
another
that-
girl.
and I think
That
that
is
should
true.
call disqualify
Right.
him
Yes,
for being
yes,
bad
yes.
faith.
There is a young lady that's, carrying their case around
Right.
with the
Well-
other guy. So yeah. I think they
But
do
does it
actually.
count? Does it count because they talk to Mothra, who is female? So does that count? The
I think it
twins,
counts.
the
I
twin
would-
I think it
fairies-
counts.
say yes.
And they're not
I
talking
think
about.
And they're not talking about a guy.
I think not because
Well,
the guy they're
no,
talking
they're
about
having
is
a
Godzilla.
Well, they
conversation
might
about
though.
Godzilla.
Well,
The guy they're talking about is Godzilla.
Well, they're talking about Godzilla.
Right. This mother.
Yeah.
Who still wait?
Godzilla's
still-
such language.
Remember
Still-
the first Mothra movie? There is no Godzilla. There is Mothra.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
just
Mothra.
it's just her own movie, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's a great movie. I love.
I
it.
remember
is.
that. Yeah, I do remember that one.
Yeah.
Mark, what are you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, well, Godzilla had a son who we
Godzilla.
never really met the mother, so we're still we're not sure on Godzilla's
We're
whole.
gonna go into
I think
biology.
that-
of
Well,
Godzilla-
Godzilla's a
supposed to
dude.
No,
be-
I'm saying
I think
biologically,
But
King
he's
of the
also
monsters.
a reptile of
You know,
some
he
sort.
changed it,
Amphibian.
you know,
asexual reproduction.
what
Jurassic
did he
Park.
say in
Is,
Jurassic
yeah,
Park?
is this a lifetime
Nature finds a way.
This is how we go off the rails. There,
Same
Steve.
sex environment.
It's an environment then.
Life will always find a way.
I know
Yes.
in the "It Shall Not Be Spoken Of" American version from the '90s with Matthew Broderick, I know that they specifically
Oh,
come
yeah,
out
no.
and say that Godzilla's a hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
Who lays eggs?
But we don't talk about that movie.
We do not talk about
it
it.
shall not be named. But I
The freaking, because first of all, that wasn't Godzilla. That was a overgrown iguana. Yes, that's what that was.
Man,
That was an iguana
you know what?
that
I'll be
lived
Spider-Punk
in Madison
today.
Square Garden for a little bit.
Mhm.
That was not Godzilla.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
be, you know, I'm
Don't
gonna
be sorry.
Spider-Punk for a minute and be like, that was one of the best Godzilla movies ever.
Man, if I could reach you the screen right now, I would smack the words out your mouth.
And Godzilla destroyed the concept of what Godzilla should be.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
I have to disagree. Godzilla 1985. If you're gonna go with the 90 version, we're gonna have to go with that one.
Oh dear God.
Oh Lord.
I don't
Well-
know, man. Go ahead.
Hey,
Well, Kirk
Raymond Burr came
is-
back.
He did.
And this
And he
is
should
Kirk
never have.
proving the earlier point of him being an anarchist, folks.
Exactly.
Because hey, that's what anarchists do. Steve Van Sampson, it has been an immense pleasure having you here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave that.
Take this next couple of minutes to plug your stuff, please.
Yeah. So thank you guys, first of all, for having me on. This was incredibly fun. And as I said, I'm a fan of the show anyway, so it's just extra fun. So thank you very much. But yeah, my new one, guys, out there in listening land is Black Honey. There are two versions. There's the hardcover and there is the soft cover. They're both cool. They both have the same stories on the inside, and not just stories, but we have a bunch of fun extras that just fell out that you can't even see. We got double-sized trading cards that come with the hardcover
Ooh.
version. Look at this. Like, we got monster trading cards that are
Wow.
5x7s.
Oh,
Big
They look to
wow.
look like they came out of the 50s, kind of,
Mhm.
but they're all just
That's
monsters
awesome.
from the various stories. Actually, we even have a
That's
a
cool.
vampire, No God But Hunger. Here's my vampire kids.
Oh,
They're
wow.
red,
Ah,
red cherry
that's
eyes. There you go. And there's a bunch of
Wow.
stuff. And also, every story in the book has an illustration by Derek Rook, who is my partner in crime. I will show you this one right here, just at random. This is the illustration for Zandaxar. This is my 80s arcade game that I made up.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Very Stranger
Bunch of-
Things.
Yeah, that one is very Stranger Things. This is a collection of short stories. They're unrelated for the most part, but they're all horror. They're all fun. They all are, things I've been working on for, over the years. Some of them have been published before. Some of them are brand new, but all the illustrations are brand new. You can get yours, honestly, if you're interested. Please go to the publisher, roughhousepublishing.com. Roughhousepublishing.com is the best place. That gives us the best margin by far. We really appreciate it. And also, it's the only place that you can get the signed versions. And all the extras are in the hardcover.
Nice.
Not just that, there's also some stickers. There's a Black Honey sticker.
Oh wow.
And so there's a bunch of artwork that we crammed into this. And I do have to say, we did have we called it the Ultimate Edition, and it actually was both versions. And it came with one little bit of extra little tidbit that we crammed into just the Ultimate Edition, and that was a bottle of Black Honey hot sauce that we had made up from this guy in Vermont that we had crossed paths with and worked out a deal, and it was really, really cool. So we had some of those, but guys, we sold out last week. So the limited Ultimate Edition with the hot sauce is officially gone. But there are plenty of hardcovers left and the paperbacks and all that stuff. So if you're interested, please, roughhousepublishing.com. Thank you so much for letting me talk on your show and hearing my words, and hopefully we entertained you a little bit. I don't know.
I think you did. I think you succeeded
Absolutely
in helping us with a very exciting episode. And I'm not even going to be mad at you for using Black Honey, since that used to be my old stage name. Anyway.
Oh, was it?
Wait, you said old stage name?
Yes.
Black Honey.
I'm El Negro Terrifico now.
It does not roll off the tongue quite as well, but
right, exactly.
I'm not going to tell you
We're still workshopping. We're still workshopping, just to be fair.
Hey, ain't that Black Honey?
Mark's face.
Is that Black Honey?
Ain't that Black Honey?
Well, you like to close out with a bang here at Steve Van Shenanigans, and that's what we're doing, folks. I'm Stephen Van Patten for Stephen Van Sampson, Denise Tapscott, Kirk Johnson, and of course, Fishbait Mark Abbott. We thank you for listening, and we whoa. Oh my God. I almost forgot. We have to plug something. Why don't you, since you've got your indignant face on, Mark, why don't you take over?
So next Sunday, 9:00 for the very first time, Beef Wine and Shenanigans is going live, and we are interviewing Dark Shadows icon Sharon Lentz. We are in the 57th anniversary of that classic soap opera. And she has agreed to give us her time and her evening, and we will be covering everything from Dark Shadows and everything beyond Dark Shadows with her. We're extremely excited to have this opportunity, and we will be live, and just keep an eye out because we will be sending out a link, but we are in conjunction with Galactic Terrors, which you can find on YouTube. We will be streaming with them. And so if you look for Galactic Terrors, you'll find us and the promo for the show.
Yes. Galactic Terrors, we're being co-members of the New York chapter of the Horror Writers Association. They have been nice enough to loan us their living room for said interview. And it will be a blast, and we hope you all join us. In the meantime, and the in-between time and the scream time, we are out. We love you. We mean it. Peace.